What's going on around Ollelito back here with a brand new video on the channel. Today guys, we have another tutorial Tuesday, and in today's episode I will actually try to teach you guys how you defend a bit better on the EFC 25. We will go through a lot of gameplay from me playing against other pros, what I'm doing well and what the other pros are doing well in terms of actually defending a bit more lower down, because I've been doing kind of a pressure play video before, so I wanted to do basically how you defend around your own box. So let's just jump into today's video, Tutorial Tuesday. Let's do this. So the first kind of clip, as I will show you guys today, is basically what you want to focus on when your opponent is trying to aim for the corner flag and then try to bring it back to your centimeters, then into his strikers. So as you see here, I'm playing Dittmir, German pro, really good pro player. He is sending his Rafinha at the bottom here, the bottom of the screen. As you see, he's pointing his hand forward, which means that Dittmir sent him. Drogba here then finds a very good pass to Rafinha, and I will just play this clip through. The main thing that you want to focus in these kind of scenarios is to always track the pass going backwards. So if we pause it when Rafinha is actually turning back, you see here, first of all, I'm trying to actually get closer with Dalot so I can do the second man pressure with him. As you see, he has this kind of triangle over him with a green around it, which basically means that I'm actually doing second man press with Dalot. So here again, you see that I'm actually doing second man press with Dalot but dragging back De Jong. That's because I want De Jong to cut off the dangerous pass into the strikers directly from the wing. So here again, when Rafinha turns back here, the only option he has is to pass it back to Drogba. The thing that he should have done in this situation is to just dribble more, because he should realize, okay, Olle is just doing second man press with Dalot, which means that I will have more space on the ball and more time on the ball. But the thing is basically I'm setting up for a bit of a trap here, because in this kind of frame, you see, you would probably argue that Drogba should be getting the ball, but as soon as he turns back, the thing I want to do is to basically cut this pass off backwards to Drogba, which I do with De Jong, and from here I can start my counter attack. So that's super important. When your opponent is getting to these kind of areas of the pitch, especially on the wings, you need to cut off the dangerous pass from the wing into the midfield. And in this case now it was actually Drogba, but if it is to the CMs, that's totally fine. If they play the center midfielders, then try to play to the strikers, that's totally fine. Just make sure to cut off the offensive players that are running into the box, basically. So this clip is actually going to be a great one. I'm going to play it through as well. And it's actually kind of a similar situation. And I'm just going to watch through this whole sequence, because I think we defend this pretty well. With the center midfielders, especially in this year's game, I think it's super important to actually try to just block off the middle. So just make it hard for the opponent to actually find their strikers. And once again here, you see that I'm doing a lot of kind of like second man pressure. That wasn't the greatest defense from me with Dalot there, and he probably should have scored there. But up to that point, I think I defended it really well. So if we go back, for example here, he gets this into Drogba. And once again here, as I said in the previous clip, it's totally fine if he plays his center midfielder here. The thing that I need to do better here though, is that I need to cut this pass off to Rafinha. Now, a hamshake pass here to Rafinha, basically impossible to make. So, I mean, it is fine if I'm actually gambling a bit and trying to cut off the pass to, I believe that is Putellas. That's closest to the ref there. And I'm expecting it. Once again here though, when he gets into this opportunity with hamshake, he can actually score this. I'm getting a bit lucky that TU actually blocks this, because I think this goes in if it actually goes towards goal. But once again here though, when he's going out to the winger, I know for a fact he wants to drag my team out, then wants to find the pass into the middle. So the thing I do, I try to put pressure manually with Lauren James, then second man press, because I switch away from James, then I'm doing R1 with James to put a second man press, but I'm also tucking in De Jong to make the middle more compact and obviously harder for my opponent to find any space in. So once again here, you see, when I'm actually getting close with De Jong, this is actually a chance where I should actually tackle the ball holder. But then again, I want to make a trap. So the thing I do is I try to do second man press here with De Jong and then switching off to Rodri to cut off the pass to Putellas. But once again, we always need to make sure that the middle is compact so he can't play through our midfield. If he plays on the side of us, it's totally fine, especially now how the game is. We don't really have this aerial meta with strikers yet. But when he comes, of course, it's going to be debatable what you're going to do. But now in this game, as you see here, I'm just dragging back Rodri to cut off the dangerous pass to Drogba, but also to his Rafinha. And I think he feels this as well. He doesn't really have anything in terms of a place here. So the only thing he does, just plays it through the midfielders. I'm just cutting off with De Jong here, as you see. But he's also deciding, okay, now I can bite, now I just back off. So it's a bit of a bit of a feeling. You should just have that feeling. Sometimes you can actually pressure your opponent, even though on your own half. But I have this kind of rule for myself that if my opponent is on my half, then I just try to sit deep and actually try to just, you know, cut off the passing lanes in the middle. And if my opponent is actually trying to build up on his own half, then I can be aggressive and actually try to go for the ball. So once again here though, Dithmir does this well, but the danger, or when I'm actually messing up, is that when I'm going sideways with Dalot here, so he can just do the sprint boost in between Lauren James and Dalot. And once again here, I think he choked this a bit. This shouldn't be going through to Drogba. And overall, I think that was some pretty decent defending, to be honest. For this clip again, is going to be kind of a similar situation as we talked about. But this is, I guess, a really, really good sequence once again. He gets down with Drogba here. And the thing I know, the only thing he wants to do is to try to actually find his winger, then play it into the center midfielder. So the thing I do with De Jong, as I said, boys, you tuck in the midfielders and just try to cover off the passes to the strikers. Just see how active in this clip I am with just switching and just putting Rodri and De Jong here, because I'm playing a 4-4-2 formation, right? Just try to put them in the middle as much as I can. Here again though, when he's facing my own net, that's when I can actually be aggressive. Here again though, I'm getting a bit unlucky with De Jong, and I mean a red time finish from Drogba there. But overall, I think this is the right situation to bite, especially in this game, because you can get the ball through players in this game. And I press circle here with my Van de Ven, and I maybe should be getting the ball. But then, if I miss the tackle, I tuck in with De Jong. And then, in this kind of sequence, when I am on the player, this is a time where I want to be aggressive. And I try to put pressure on my opponent to make an error. Or actually try to take the ball from my opponent by pressing circle. So that was some really, really good defending up to that last point, in my opinion. I think this clip is actually going to be a great one in terms of I want to show you guys how you get rewarded for actually defending well. So in this kind of clip, we have, of course, Trent running down the wing. And once again here, I put so good pressure on my opponent that he knows if he doesn't pass this ball away, because Theo has Bruiser placed out plus, he will lose the ball here anyway. So the thing he's trying to do is to try to find Drogba, because he sent Drogba, Drogba is pointing his arm forward, which means that Drogba is running into the box. And Trent having whipped pass, I was a bit afraid that he can make this pass, even though he can't. But the thing I realized then is that, okay, his Trent is out of position, then I should be going down that right-hand side. So the thing I do, I send Vini, and then I know my both center midfielders has tiki-taka, so I can just play it with first time, finding a through ball from Rodri down to Vini, a counter-attacking opportunity, and an easy finesse into the back of the net. Scores to make it 2-0, and that was fantastic defense, but also turning the ball from defense into attack super quickly will basically make you score loads of these goals, especially I have some really, really fast and pacey wingers. This kind of clip is more, I guess, based on how I work with my midfielders around the box. So as you see here, De Jong trying to cut that passing lane to Rafinha. When I feel like De Jong is actually in a good spot, that's when I try to do second man press with Lauren James and try to put pressure on Alexia Putellas to cause an error or miss a pass or whatever. So the thing I do then, after when I put De Jong into position, that's when I want to use Rodri to drag Rodri back to put him in a better position to actually cut off these passes into the strikers. So once again, we put ourselves in a great position. He doesn't really have a lot here. And if he passes the ball into one of his strikers here, it's going to be super, super hard for him to turn towards my goal and actually shoot, because he will have Van de Ven or Van Dijk bumping him from behind, basically. That sounds very, very weird. Don't make a joke out of that, but just basically turn into them, and yeah, they will just have them have like the opponent will have me in the. It sounds weird anyway. I think you guys understand what I mean. Just the defender will be on the opponent, if that makes sense, and it will be really, really hard for my opponent to do anything. So once again here, just drag back the CMs, just try to cut off these players, and when he's getting into that kind of sequence, just do a bit of second man press and try to be on the opponent to actually block the Trivela from happening, or the finesse shot, for example. Later on in the game, obviously we're leading 2-0 here, 88th minute, and we're looking into a pretty good situation. As you see here though, I'm just tracking back with De Jong. If he plays it on the wing, totally fine. There's no harm if your opponent plays on the wing. The most important thing, as I said in, I think, the other clip that I showed you, just make sure that it's not playing through you, basically breaking your lines. And the thing he does here, my opponent, is he goes out wide, and it's totally fine. I mean, I don't really care if he goes out here wide, because it's not a lot of times you actually do a cross from here and actually score. So if it does, I mean, I'm just going to clap my hands and say well done. But once again here, I drag down my Nico Williams, I put second man pressure with my Trent, so I am going to put pressure on Theo, but also basically covering. So the only pass he has back is basically number 11. I don't know who that is. I think that's Savanier. So he can play the CM, but then it will be compact in the middle anyway. So I'm just trying to make it more compact for myself and more hard for him to do anything. Once again here, a pretty rushed decision rewards me getting the ball, and that's basically game over And yeah, I think this was a great defensive game, and I think you can learn a lot from this. It's all about, though, basically tucking in players. Super, super important. That's going to be rule number 1 when you're defending around your own box. Make sure to use your center midfielders as much as you can, and just try to cut off the passes to the strikers. And then don't be afraid if your opponent goes on the wing. It's super, super important to not let him have space in the middle, but when they are on the wing, it's not really a real danger in this year's game. So tuck in players, make the opponent go a lot on the wing, and then also make sure to grab your midfielders and actually try to defend with them as much as you can, up to the point where maybe they play through a line or something. Then of course you need to be more aggressive with the center backs. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Don't forget to leave a like, comment something nice down below if you're new around here, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for the support, and you guys are the greatest. See you guys soon, boys. Take care. Bye bye.